Welcome, everybody, to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. We have a fantastic show coming up for you tonight. Joe Diamond is back with us. Kick off the new year. Coming up next. Welcome, everybody, to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. I'm author and researcher Mike Ricksecker. With me, as always, my co-host is Victoria Mundae. And down in the chat room, Alina moderating the chat. We have a fantastic show for you tonight to kick off the new year 2022. America's greatest mind reader, Joe Diamond, is back with us. We had a fantastic time with him last year. I think it was around March or April. And we were originally going to have him back just before Christmas, do some sort of Christmas themed show, which would have been a lot of fun. But Joe is a busy, highly sought after guy. So we have him for the new year, which is just as good. So Joe, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I know I should have seen it coming when we did the okay, so no joke. The day after I was given the award for America's Greatest Mind Reader, I had that feeling in my gut, like, oh God, something's gonna happen. And sure enough, one of the venues I work, which is a wonderful venue in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, the Maxwell Mansion, it is reportedly haunted, like many of the venues I work. New owners just got the parking lot paved. It used to be gravel and they got it paved, but they didn't have the little stoppers in front installed. So my car went over the edge and I couldn't back my car out. So literally day after getting that, I'm like, yep, I knew it. You know, karma just came back around. He should have seen that coming. But it was funny, and the owners took good care of me and everything, and they were great. We got it out. But yeah, and again, at least I got that out of the way at the start of the winter season with my poor car.
Get it out of the way with then rather than now when it's cold and snowy and getting crazy.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
You said earlier that was a negative 20 wind chill factor there. So
yeah, we're right on the Wisconsin-Illinois border right here. So right off of Lake Michigan. It gets pretty windy and pretty chilly some days. So upside, I'm on the third floor, and we've got
hot air rises
exposure, so it gets nice and
there
warm
you go.
This time of year. So it's great.
Good.
Barely have to
That's good.
heat on.
That's good. So yeah, kicking off the new year, we're gonna start tonight's show with your 2022 crystal ball predictions, and ironically enough, all three of us have crystal balls.
We
I'll
all have our
show
crystal
you mine,
balls.
show me
Get them.
yours.
All right. Get them for the thumbnail. All right. Very good.
Nice.
All right. If we all wave them counterclockwise and rub our bellies, we'll open a vortex. It'll be.
Yeah, I'm just sticking on my nose.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So fun fact before we kick things off, because we were talking about this beforehand.
Yeah.
You always want to make sure to cover your crystal balls and keep them out of direct sunlight, because several theater fires have been started due to crystal balls being left out on ledges or windowsills. Think of this as a magnifying glass and the building as an ant. That's what's happened. In fact, one magician who had blind assistants, that was one of his big publicity things. Like, he has blind assistants, so they don't even know how all this stuff is done. And they took his crystal ball, it was about 5 times the size of this one, and put it on what they thought was a shelf, and it turned out to be a windowsill, and it burned the theater down.
So you're saying I shouldn't keep mine in the window back there on the bookshelf like I normally do?
I mean, as long as it's not getting direct sunlight, you should be fine. I always...
No, I just...
the metaphysical equivalent to this is I've gotten into my car, leaving like my studio at the Dole Mansion and going, did I cover the crystal ball? Because that studio does have a western exposure window.
Oh no!
If I was on the other side of the building, it wouldn't matter. I could keep it out all day long. But yeah, so it's the psychic equivalent of, did I leave the stove on? I'm not sure.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a suggestion of what you could put them in?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. If you go to if you have friends who are bartenders or servers, or just go to a restaurant or a bar, very often they've got Crown Royal bags just sitting around, and ask them like, "Hey, can I give you like $1 for a couple?" And they'll usually just give them to you. But if you offer them a couple bucks, they'll say, "Yeah, sure, here's a few." So I get them; they're really nice, and it's funny because when I take it out for shows, every once in a while, people are like, "Oh, he's gonna serve drinks," and then I take the crystal ball.
You're gonna get a shot.
Yeah,
So you got that, everybody?
That's
Cover your
communing
balls.
with a different kind of spirit. Yeah, exactly.
Dear HR. So is this how 2020 is going to go?
2022.
Whoa, let's not go back to 2020.
All right. Oh boy.
Flashbacks.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Is this how 2022 is going to go?
I think you just summed up how 2022 is going to go. I saw
I'm
one
still in
meme online that
2020.
said, is it 2020 TOO 2022?
No.
Yeah, I hope not.
Hopefully not.
Or
So
2020, the
as-
dance remix. Okay.
Yeah, the dance. Yes. DJ Khaled bringing out the new updated version. So I'm relatively new to crystal ball gazing. I've only done it in the last couple years. I think I started around 2019, 2018. But I have been combining it with keeping track of my dream interpretations as well. I always take down dreams, and my dreams, I have noticed, do turn out to be prophetic in a weird roundabout way. Just for example, during the 2016 elections, I had a dream of a field of pumpkins, all with Donald Trump's face on them. And 2 days later, the phrase Trumpkins was trending on Twitter, where people were carving Donald Trump's face in a pumpkin. So that one turned out to be literal. Some of them have turned out to be more symbolic and so forth. I usually post them on my Instagram. But when I knew we were doing this, I wanted to save a couple of them for tonight. We've got some that I had a couple months ago that I think are on the horizon for 2022. Some of these I thought about while I looked into the crystal ball. And yeah, I think some of these are symbolic. Some of them may turn out to be literal. I think I just share them with everyone, and we see what you and the listeners decide, and we can come back, in a couple months or at the end of the year and see how many of these lined up. How's that sound?
Ooh, perfect.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So first things first, I have to admit, I don't know. I think this is one that's symbolic, but too good to pass up. So we'll start with it. In a dream recently, I had a vision of a purple sky, like almost like a neon purple sky. And I'm at a farm, and I turn to the left, and there's a cow right there who starts talking to me. I couldn't quite figure out what the cow was saying, but again, maybe scientists will clone a talking cow by the end of the year. Maybe something will happen with the sky where it turns purple. It may be literal, but I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit more on the symbolic side. So we'll see where that goes. Something that is a little bit more literal. I also dreamt that I was in a supermarket, and all they had in stock were small red fruit, possibly strawberries. And when I tried to interpret this on my own, I took it to mean that there's possibly going to be a strawberry shortage for 2022. So stock up on strawberries. It was, 2020 it was toilet paper, 2022 strawberries. Be on the lookout for that. Another one that I thought was kind of strange, because I haven't been to Florida for a few years. I used to go there on tour a ton, but I had a dream that I was back at Universal Studios in between shows, and it started snowing in Florida.
Oh, interesting.
So in the Orlando area, which has happened, but it's very, very rare.
That's pretty rare.
So I think it'll and usually it's already, when I looked back to see if it had happened before, it usually happened in the December months, not in the New Year area. So we'll be on the lookout. We'll be on the lookout for that. On the slightly, I don't want to be too grim, but I want to be honest at the same time. Unfortunately, I dreamt of two headlines that were fairly negative, but I want to be honest about what I saw. I saw a newspaper in the dream, and the headline was just two words, and it was Trump divorce. And then further down the page, it mentioned a third celebrity death was coming in a few weeks. And this was right after I got news of unfortunately, we just lost Bob Saget. And, a bunch of people in the last year. But of course, with Betty White, kicking off the new year, and then Bob Saget. Again, I woke up before I could see who it was on the newspaper, but it was very clear third celebrity death. So that was a little disappointing. However, in the good news, speaking of celebrities, I did see a very clear celebrity adoption, a big celebrity adoption coming up in the spring. I don't know if it's a big celebrity who's going to do an adoption or who's going to adopt a bunch of kids, or who knows which way that goes. Also, a little bit more on the fun side, a pet is going to become one of the most followed accounts on Instagram this year. And there's going to be something distinctive about the pet. It's going to be cute, but there's going to be a distinctive quirk about it. And I think we'll know it when we see it. And then we'll wrap up with this. I do see an increase in in-person events becoming canceled, and a return to focus on virtual entertainment in the coming weeks, which is part of the reason, not the only reason, but part of the reason why I'm back to doing my virtual show, which we talked about last time. And that's part of the reason why I'm back to doing those this time of year as well. Because again, I think people like to have the option, even if we're in areas like in the Midwest, we're doing pretty okay. Our numbers aren't too bad compared to places like in New York and such. But there are places that they're closing down, or they're requiring vaccines, or requiring a negative test before going to see an event. And some events, I think, are just going to opt to cancel for a couple weeks until after the winter months. And so luckily my venues, like at the Dole Mansion, we're small, we're 13 people. So as long as the building is, allowing people to do events there, as long as everyone's masked and, everything else, we're fine. But also, again, all my shows are backed up with virtual shows now. So I think that's just more of just a sign of the times and the way we're going.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your virtual shows, because we do have a promo code for everybody down in the description that they can use, which is the promo code is Edge of the Rabbit Hole, correct?
Yep. Name of the show, Edge of the Rabbit Hole, all one word. If you go to joediamondlive.com/virtual, it'll give you the button to go to get tickets. Tickets are normally $20 per household. So if you have a household of like 5-6 people, you all gathering around one screen, that's for everyone. It's not per person, it's per screen. So it's already pretty affordable. But just for your listeners, if they just type in the name of the show in all capital letters, one word before checkout, they'll get $5 off. And the show is called Virtual Alchemy. And there's, I was telling Victoria about it because you saw it last year.
It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And there are there's some parts of that show that have carried over to this year, but there are still some surprises as well, some new things as well. So even if some listeners caught the show last year, you can come check it out this year. It's now called Virtual Alchemy. It is every Wednesday at 7:30, and I'm doing it through January and February. I might do some in March. The plan is my wife and I are going on a trip with her parents at the end of February. So that'll be like the break time for it. We'll see if I continue it once we continue on from there. But for right now, every Wednesday, 7:30 Central. We've had, even just last week for the first show of the new year, we had people on both coasts, East and West Coast, some people in Canada, so some people out of the country. And it's really fun to stay connected and also see people from all these different areas too that I wouldn't have the chance to see at an in-person event. Even though I travel and do a bunch of events and everything else, it's still fun to see people in their homes. It's a nice, people sometimes do it as a date night. Sometimes people do it as a family night. It's kind of nice. It's kind of a nice, at-home kind of activity for everyone to do. And it's fully interactive as well. You're not just sitting there watching a talking head talk for, an hour. I'm bringing people on. There's over 70% of the show is completely interactive with everyone watching at once. So everyone watching, you will be involved. You'll be shuffling a deck of cards or using a pendulum or trying some psychic tests with me. It's really fun. And I like that we can still stay connected and transform something that's normally pretty boring, you know, a Zoom meeting or a Zoom hangout, and literally use alchemy to transform it into something that's truly interactive and truly memorable too. And I think that's the important thing as well. And without spoiling too much with this new show, but I only do mind reading in like the first third of the show. And part of the reason it's called virtual alchemy is because everyone else is transformed into mystics. And as like we go along, it becomes more and more about everyone else's intuition and everyone else's energy. Again, don't want to spoil too much, but that's part of it. It's not a show that you just sit back and watch passively. We have Netflix for that. This is something where we can truly interact. And also we end with a ritual that allows people to become more powerful in their own lives. And there's a moment where I have people recite a mantra, and some people, you know, it's a positive mantra, but you can tell people saying it in their homes, you know, with everyone is kind of a strange moment. But in that strangeness, everyone becomes connected, and we're able to, and you can feel it. You can feel that connection, you know, metaphysically and physically with the people you're watching with and the people watching in their homes as well.
Yeah. When I watched it I think it was last year. Yeah. 2020. Yeah.
2021.
Yeah. 2021 part 2, or whatever. It was a little weird to begin with. Like there was like people and I didn't know them, but like 10, 15 minutes into it, there was I think a mother and her 2 children, and they were laughing and having a good time. And like you said, there was somebody on a date, and there was someone who was slumped down in a chair in the shadows, but then he started getting involved. And so, yeah, by the end of it, we were all laughing and having a great time. And it's like, I got 2 new friends now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other fun thing too, is like I've had people watch in their car during their break at work, which, you know, it's hilarious. That was fun. There was one, it was kind of spooky. It was just an empty room the whole time. I don't know if they threw up an image or, and there was a moment where, you know, I put everyone on the grid view, and I mentioned, I was like, hey, I don't remember the person's name, but, you know, I mentioned their name. I was like, hey, you don't have to come on screen, but let us know everything's okay in the chat. Like, we don't see, like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, someone just like, you know, passed out or out of frame.
They keeled over right there. Yeah.
Yeah. That did happen to me at one of my in-person shows coming back back in November. We can talk about that in a moment. But it was a little unnerving to just have, you know, again, sometimes people don't turn their screens on. They do just want to watch, or they want to interact without feeling under a microscope, and that's totally fine too, that you can still interact and enjoy the show without having your camera on. But it was just like kind of odd and bizarre, and it was right in the center of the screen too, so it's kind of like, well, can't not mention that, gotta keep going.
It's not like it was a bat flying around or anything.
Yes. Oh, that happened. Oh my God. Yes. All in-person shows. Let me tell you something too. Okay, so virtual shows, like they're beautiful and they're wonderful and they're quirky, but that quirkiness transitioned over into in-person shows as well. I was doing a show Halloween weekend in a haunted mansion. Now, this is a mansion that I normally do work at. It's where I do my 13-person shows. The way it's laid out, though, is that there's the main mansion, and then there's an annex that was added on in 1922. So that new part of the building is already 100 years old. And that's where the artist studios are. So there's me, there's a medium, there's painters, photographers, musicians, someone who does Reiki, someone who does massage therapy and healing arts. And for Halloween weekend, I did shows in the main area of the mansion. And they've had events in there. They've had cocktail parties and stuff. And this wasn't like the first time in 100 years there's been an event in that part of the mansion. And I'm doing a mind reading demonstration in the middle of the show. And all of a sudden, out of the back of the audience, a bat swoops down and flies over everyone's heads for like a solid 30 seconds and then goes back up into the rafters and vanishes and never returns.
I saw the video.
Now
it was awesome.
Oh, there's a video of that?
Yeah.
There was a video. Someone A friend of mine, I did ask for no videos during my show, but my friend filmed it because she was like, yeah, that was too good not to film, Joe. So I was like, no, that's fine. And there is a photo of me looking back at it, and they caught it like right mid-flight. So fun fact about this too. My wife, Lindsay, in college did something. She was what's called a bat detective. She worked for the nature preserve, and she would walk around the trails with a little GPS device with a microphone attached to it that was so sensitive that if you just rubbed your fingers together, the mic would pick it up as if you were scratching a record, just the little ridges of your fingerprints. So what you do is you walk around until you hear a bat, and then you hit a button and it saves the last 20 seconds of audio, and GPS pinpoints where you are. So you can determine, insect population, bat population, all this stuff that's important for a nature preserve. So she knows. She was even on the local news back in college talking about bats. She loves bats. It's adorable. So it's flying around because in my head, I'm like, this is amazing. Oh God, I hope no one gets freaked out thinking that's my bat. I don't want them to be like, oh my gosh, he has a pet bat he brings to
that's
shows.
part of the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that could raise some health issues for not just myself, but the building and everything else. Also, you don't know. I don't want someone to get in someone's hair or any of that stuff. Yeah. So I look at my wife. She was there that night, and I was like, "Are we good?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's fine. Just leave him alone." And right at that moment, it flew off, and again was not seen again. We did have to do a flashlight tour later that night, so her and I went upstairs to make sure it wasn't just chilling up on the second or third floor for us to go and see. And she said, yeah, if it's flying around, it's likelihood it's fine. If it's sick, that's when it's on the floor and flapping and everything. That's when you got to be concerned. But yeah,
and Fresno saying, glad you didn't pull an Aussie.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to be an Aussie. So that was, so normally, well, it was funny too, because I used to say oh my God, virtual shows are the only shows where you have animals crash the show suddenly. Because I'll be talking with someone and suddenly a cat will walk across their screen,
or somebody's
in the
dog
background,
comes in,
or a puppy. And it happened at a live show on Halloween weekend.
It's perfect.
Yeah, and I didn't have to pay extra for it, so that was cool.
So it wasn't a union bat or anything. Okay.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks later, coming back around to this story, I was performing at a venue in Chicago called the Chicago Magic Lounge. It was built about 5 years ago now. It's the #1 spot for nightlife. It's a throwback to the old Art Deco theaters and bars in Chicago where they would have bartender magicians and such. And once a month, they'll bring in a different psychic entertainer as the variety act. And I've done that a couple times now. And other psychic entertainers have been there as well. Ross Johnson, Christopher Carter, phenomenal performers. And they have a smaller theater in back. So the main ballroom, or not ballroom, more like cabaret theater, seats 165. And then they have a smaller, more cozy theater in the back called the 654 Club, which seats about 40 people. And because I work more intimate venues, they put me back there. I did a full week of sold out shows back there. And it was a blast. It was so much fun. And there was one night where there was a guy up in the 4th row. He was leaning against the wall, and I could see the eyes going, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to luckily the house manager was in the room, so I was in the middle of something. I was like, okay, after this I'm gonna have to tell, hey Leslie, can we get this person some water? Hey, let's get you some water, and just get them out, get them some water, and then I can continue on with the show. Well, right as I'm about to do that, this guy just slumps down and out of his seat. And the people up there could not get him to wake up. So we were so she was on the radio. She called 911, and they were like, yeah, we're just going to tie it up there. So I just was like, yeah, I was a little shaken, of course.
Wow.
I left, went back into the dressing room, and they have a camera in there so the other acts can see the acts in the in the theater. And I go in, and all the other performers are standing around, and they're like, what did you do?
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I killed, that's what. Turned out he had a little bit too much of something. He went to the hospital. Leslie let us know the next day that he was alive and released into the care of his family members the next day. So, that's what's important.
Yeah.
That was the early show. So I still had to do one more show later that night. And the seat number was 409.
You mesmerized him into the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like whenever I hear the Beach Boy song, She's Zero Find My 409, I always think of that now.
Okay.
Dang it. Dang it. So again, coming back to in person has been a blast as well. I do like the variety of my work. I like that some nights I'm at a different location every night. Some nights I'm at the Dole Mansion. Some nights I'm at the Maxwell, and they're completely different vibes of buildings and such. And then, sometimes I'm doing corporate stuff, and then sometimes I'm doing virtual. So I like now that it's not all just the same thing anymore. So.
Yeah. Do you switch up what your performance is based on the venue that you're at?
Yes, I have. So I have 5 different 1-hour shows, including an additional hour and a half of virtual material. So now there's some stuff where there is some overlap. Whether it's with, obviously the mind reading. I do mind reading stuff in different ways. Like just for example, just off the top of my head, when I've guessed like a word from a book or like a pin code, I'm usually using the same technique for those, but because one's a word and one's a number, they feel different. So, and we usually go from something more personal, a random word from a book, to something more personal, like a pin code. So that has more meaning. So I like to find variety, of course, that kind of stuff. But like each show has a different theme. Like, for example, the shows I'm doing right now at the Dole Mansion are called Mystic. And that's an hour where I talk about different mystics from throughout history. So I talk about Edgar Cayce, the Sleeping Prophet, and everyone's encouraged to bring a book to that show. Because Edgar Cayce claimed he could fall asleep on a book and wake up and know all the information. So we do that with a book that someone has brought with to the show.
Oh, very
every
cool.
week. I do some crystal ball work in that show, and some other surprises I won't get into. And then another show I've done there is called The 13th Hour. And that's all time travel themed, or it's, so I talk about, like, rather than predicting the future, I talk about going into the future, seeing what happens, then coming back in time to make a prediction. When I read someone's mind, imagine go back in time into your own past, into your own memories. And then we end with basically a blackout seance where we completely turn out all the lights in the room and all 13 people are holding hands. And we send a borrowed item back in time before the show and we prove it. We have undeniable proof of it. And that's fun because how can I go from, some fun psychological things and along the way have it get spookier and weirder to the point where people go, okay, I don't believe in time travel, but the evidence of this is overwhelmingly positive. I can't come up with an alternative theory. And that was really fun to do. I hope to bring that back in the next year. That sounds like fun, yeah. And then I've got my corporate show, which is almost all mind reading. There's a couple things I do it that way because it's always different. It's so focused on the audience. And then if someone comes to see me at the Maxwell, I'm set up in a room in there and I do small little like 10 to 15 minute shows. And there's some things I do there that I've got basically a little set there that I only do in that venue, which talks about the history of the place and everything else. So yeah, so theoretically you can come in because I don't want people to feel like they buy a ticket to see me and then book me for a house party. It's exactly the same. Like the biggest thing people want out of mystery entertainment is mysteries, to be surprised. So it's why there's, hundreds of episodes of Sherlock Holmes or Father Brown. It's because we don't want to see the same mystery over and over. We like this character. We like these people. We want to go on this journey with them, and we don't want it to be spoiled. So I kind of take that as a bit of a guiding light with my stuff too. It's like to make sure that I've got stuff. There's some overlap again, but I try to make sure, and just with the idea of everyone it's always a different number of people. You could see the virtual show this week and next week, and it wouldn't be the same show because of the amount of people. And you might be like, oh, that person's more accurate on this, or oh, this person, responded in this way, and Joe had to adjust a little bit more. And that's part of the fun of it too, is that it is always different, and that keeps it fun.
So I want to
and
fly
again,
up to the
everybody,
Dole
for
Mansion.
Joe's and again, everybody, for Joe's virtual show, Edge of the Rabbit Hole is the promo code.
Yep, Edge of the Rabbit Hole. You can go to JoeDiamondLive.com/virtual or go to JoeDiamondLive.wellattended.com and click on the dates there. And the other, and like you said, coming up to the Dole to see that in person. Please do. I plan on being there for a long, long time. We are in talks already for October 2022 of doing the bigger show again. Nothing's locked in yet. Nothing is locked in yet, but we are in talks. We're also talking about hopefully April Fool's Day in April and Friday the 13th in May, because it is Crystal Lake, Illinois. And even though it's not exactly where the Friday the 13th movies are based, Friday the 13th is a pretty big event in that area. I got married on Friday the 13th, actually. So,
oh, well, there you go.
Turns out, I got married on Friday the 13th during a pandemic. The resort will give you a deal. It's pretty great.
That's awesome.
I'm just going to show up on. Are you there on the weekends? I'm going to show up on weekend. Like, hey.
Yeah, it's every Friday right now. Okay. I've got dates listed through May, I believe. So there's a couple gaps here and there, just because, again, I don't know what the schedule is going to be like. There are some days I will be out of town, but yeah. But my ShowTimeLive.com always has my most up-to-date schedule. So there's that. And then I also perform at a restaurant, the Red Oak Restaurant, which is also reportedly haunted. Some people who used to own the building came and had dinner there one night, and they were telling stories about it. And so it's fun to do some stuff there for people after dinner as well, table side. And that's cool too, because again, like at the Maxwell, you're gonna get a much more private show. It's not gonna be as long as like the hour-long show at like the Dole Mansion, but it's gonna be much more private, much more intimate, and yeah. So that has its own vibe to it as well. And yeah, so I mean, I have a friend who's coming in a couple weeks who's gonna do she's like, I'm seeing you at the Red Oak on Thursday, the Dole Mansion on Friday, and the Maxwell on Saturday. I'm like, wow. Nice. I've planned all this out, so you will see something different every night. So that's pretty fun. And I have had people coming out of town to see the show too lately. So that was more before before December when I brought it back for the autumn months. But I'm expecting to keep it going for as long as I possibly can, because the Dole Mansion is such an amazing place, and my studio there it's just I've got it to the point now where it's just the perfect way for everyone to be connected and experience the whole time together. And it's kind of even hard to describe, because there isn't anything really like it. The closest I've had to it is an escape room. The only difference is, instead of trying to get out for an hour, you have a guy reading your mind for an hour.
Now, last year there was some sort of magician conference or something in Austin. I don't think you went to it, but Saul was there and Vince was there.
Yes.
Is that going to happen again this year?
I don't know. There's a lot. My buddy who I filmed. So if you go to youtube.com/modern rogue, it's also on my website. We filmed some stuff with like Ouija boards and spirit bottles and pendulums and tarot, all that stuff. Palmistry. We're working on tarot for next time I come down there. He presented there as well. So I have a lot of friends down in the Texas area who are into this stuff. I don't know. I don't go to a lot of those conventions really. I'm kind of doing my own thing. Even when I have gone to those events in the past, it's usually been because I've been working or I've been hired to work it. I did run a youth program for one conference for a couple of years. Oh, nice. And that was really rewarding, because I mean, some kids would come in and some of them would do just magic tricks. Some would want to learn palm reading and mind reading. Some of them wanted to learn sword swallowing and fire reading. And we had to be like, Wait till you're 18. And then,
Wait, do you do sword swallowing? I mean,
no,
know,
but I have friends who
I
do.
know some people. Yeah, so do I.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
I do knife swallowing.
Do you really?
Knife? Yeah.
Yeah. Little
The
known
big
fact.
thing, I learned a couple things from my sword swallower friends. They taught me the human blockhead, which is hammering a 5-inch nail up your nostril, straight back. I also learned how to stick my hand in an animal trap, spring trap for rabbits, and a large double spring bear trap. And some other stuff I won't talk about right now because you're already getting. I can see you getting already.
She's getting a little red.
Yeah.
I put powder on. Do you know the great Rondini?
Great
He runs-
Rondini.
He runs the
Yeah.
Renaissance Circus, and he's in chains.
Yeah.
He's like Houdini, and he literally. I heard him. He mic'd his shoulder, and he would pop his shoulder and come out.
Ooh, man. Yeah, I the only time I wanted to be like Houdini was I was 11. As far as I know, I am the youngest person to ever attempt Houdini's 100-foot of rope escape.
Really?
You can find a photo of it online usually if you really dig for it. I've got it in my actually talk amongst yourself for literally 2 seconds because it's just out of reach over here. I will
Okay,
get the
that's
photo
fine.
for you.
Okay, Mike, go get that knife. Go hurry.
Yeah.
Do you have a
No,
knife?
don't do it.
No, I'm
Don't. It's gonna creep me out.
I'd have to
Here,
run
I've
back
got
to the
my
kitchen.
book
Yeah.
here. Give me a second.
I've been doing that
And
since I was a
we
kid.
can show a picture of this
Really?
on Instagram or something later. But there I am at age 11,
Oh my
being
gosh.
Oh,
tied
wow.
up in the. You can see the date, 1999. I am a very serious 11-year-old getting tied up for the Houdini 100-foot rope escape. This was
Oh my
for the
God.
WGN's Neediest Kids Foundation.
You haven't
this was
changed a
big,
bit.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that crooked bow tie.
He doesn't have as
that
much
crooked bow
facial
tie.
hair back then.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Oh, I shaved this.
eyes.
I still look like that. I still
Yeah.
look like that.
that's what I'm saying. You still look alike. I mean, the same. Yeah.
So that was like my first foray into show business and getting publicity at age 11. But the next year, I don't know how the guy running the event pulled this off. I still have it. He got me, a 12-year-old, a regulation mail bag, and they locked me up in that, and I got out of that. I still
Wow.
have it stashed away
Oh, wow.
somewhere. It's actual canvas. If I close my eyes, I can still smell the canvas. And I was stuck getting tied up and locked up in bags up until my late 20s or late teens, early 20s. I think the last time I did an escape was maybe 19 or 20. And it was not for me. Once I was no longer the world's youngest, it was like when you're a kid doing this stuff, people are like, wow, that's amazing. When you're a guy doing it, you're like, oh, it's just some guy.
I accidentally promoted you when I made that promo the other day. I made you the world's greatest mind reader. So come on.
In English. I can't read minds in other languages. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
You deserve
it's
it.
cool.
Yeah.
It happened. I'm really grateful to Crystal Lake Mayor for presenting that to me. He also declared it Joe Diamond Day in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Nice.
So mark your calendars, November 19th. Yeah, we're gonna have a parade. But actually, also Grace Kinsler, who was on American Idol this last year, she was she didn't win, but she got very, very close. She's also from my hometown as well. So Crystal Lake has had a good year this year.
Sounds fun until it warms
So-
up.
Yes.
So you gave us a treat with the crystal ball predictions. What else you got for us tonight, Joe?
Let's do this. So like I said, I keep a lot of I keep track of a lot of dreams I have and so forth. I just started one recently, and these have been coming true a lot more literally. I'll put this in my jacket pocket. We'll come back to that in a moment.
So those are dream journal there?
Yeah, that's my dream journal.
Okay.
We'll come back to it in a moment because I have to keep my mind sharp for all these things. When you become, when you get, like I said, when you when you're given that award, you gotta really show up. So I've been testing my brain, not with brain teasers, not with chess. No, Victoria, you and I are gonna play a game
Okay.
called Tic-Tac-Toe.
I'm familiar with it.
Okay, good. So you know the rules.
The
X's
rules?
and O's.
Oh, okay.
X's and O's, 3 in a row wins. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. There's 2 additional rules that I need to stress for when we're about to play here. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1, you have to play to win. Don't go easy on me because I'm not going to go easy on you. Okay. And
Okay.
rule,
Bring it.
second rule, it's my game, so I get to start.
Are you an X?
So I just put X in the middle. Now, this will
Okay.
be top row, middle row, bottom row, and then right, middle, or left, middle, right. Which do you want to go for your O?
Cindy Brady. Remember?
So
Cindy Brady. The other side.
Down here?
That's the
or over
boys.
here?
Yeah, girls are on that side. Yeah.
Over here? So
Cindy
right
Brady.
here.
Mhm.
Cindy Brady. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I would have taken, I think that was Alice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alice
so
was in the middle.
Or
That's
Charlie
Alice,
Weaver. If you're
All right,
Paul
all
Lynn.
right, all right.
Paul Lynn to block.
All right. So we're up to this. All right. I am getting ready to win within 2 moves already. Where do you want to go?
Well, I have to block you, of course. Oh wait,
You
turned it.
do want to go for the block? Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Just checking. Okay. Just checking. You never know. Never know. Okay. I am gonna go. I'm gonna play the reverse psychology route here. I am gonna go. I'm gonna go here. Where do you want to go?
Well, there's no winning, so I'm going to take
You
the
can still win.
bottom. No, I can't. I'd have to cheat, which I
Fair.
do. Okay. From my perspective, bottom left.
Bottom left. So,
Again,
so right
again
here.
with a Cindy Brady.
All right. So right here. So
Uh-huh.
right here. Okay. I am going to go here.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to go?
Gotta block you again.
Okay.
Middle-
So where? Up
middle row?
Middle here.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So so that means I have to take the last move and do that. I think that means cat's game, right? That's a cat's game.
Oh God, not my cat. Okay.
not your cat. But hey,
Yeah.
neither of us won,
How
but
appropriate.
neither of us lost. Good game.
Woohoo!
Here's the thing though.
Uh-huh.
That felt pretty random, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this here on my forehead for right now, so it stays in view. Because I've got my my dream journal. I'm gonna show you
Oh, no.
what I've been dreaming about the last couple of weeks. You can see it says dream journal.
Dream journal.
This one. So it's funny we mentioned cat's game because I dreamt the other day. I woke up at 7:02 a.m. and I dreamt about a black cat. And even though I live in an apartment building and we don't allow pets, when I drove my car out, a black cat crossed my path as I left. I know you don't believe me, but we'll keep going.
No, I do.
So this one, I dreamt that Lindsay, my wife, bought a red convertible without telling me. And she came home from work. You can see I woke up at 8:33 a.m. when I wrote that one. She came home from work that day and revealed to me that she had purchased a red convertible model for our nephew for his birthday. So kind of
Very cool.
Oh, this one.
With
I
a big
dreamt I
sigh of
was
relief
attacked by
from
a
you.
UFO. Yeah, I dreamt I was attacked by a UFO. This was 3:31 a.m. I woke up in the middle of the night. It was that crazy. And the next day, my dad's drone flew into my head while I was over there visiting.
Ouch.
Oh no.
Take that. I call that one a hit.
Literally.
This is the one from last night that I wrote down. You can say,
Uh-huh.
you can see I wrote down, I'll play a game of tic-tac-toe today, which isn't
Okay.
huge because, I said, let's play this. But you'll notice on the next page, I actually saw the game and it's a pretty familiar game. If you look at that,
There
that
it
is the
is.
exact game that we just played.
Very nice.
So 2 things. Number 1, I went back to bed and I had one other dream. Can you tell everyone what that says right there?
Oh, lottery numbers.
I'm not ready to share that one now that I think about it. I think I'm going to keep that one to myself. However,
Okay, it's recorded.
I don't want people thinking that like maybe, this was a fluke or, maybe, I have a million dream journals on me, which is why before we went live tonight, I posted something on Instagram.
Uh-oh.
If
Go
you
check
go
the
on my
Instagram.
Instagram at ShowTime Live, you will notice my most recent post. I had to do this again, Victoria. You will
did it
notice
last
my
time,
most
too.
recent post is of my dream journal, and it is the precise game that we just played, move for move.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold the phone.
It's right there.
Oh my
I'm
God.
literally holding the phone right here.
There it
So
is.
there you go. So believe whatever scares you the least on that one. That's what I say.
I just liked it. So
Perfect.
You might
Thank
remember
you.
me. I'm like number 9. So, awesome.
Yes.
Nice
So we do
job.
stuff like that, and it gets weirder in the virtual show on Wednesdays. It's not Thursdays anymore. It's Wednesdays.
Okay.
Wednesdays at 7:30 Central. So yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Of course. Thank you.
That's always fun. Yeah, I like that because you did that last time when we had you on last year, where you had posted something to Instagram like earlier in the day, or maybe just the day before, whatever it was, and sure enough, boom, there it was.
Yeah, it was my friend with the dark hair. So
yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah,
it was your friend and her star sign, yeah,
tarot card.
It's on Instagram. People can go back and find that, or in the past episodes. They can look at that as well.
Amazing.
Let's give this a try too. I'm gonna try this. I think it's only fair we do one more with you, Mike. I'm gonna turn over one card, so it's facing the opposite way in this deck.
Okay, tally-ho deck of cards.
Reversed. Yeah, tally-ho deck of cards. Now there's no jokers in this deck, so it's one of the 52. You're only gonna get 2 hints, Mike. It is not the Ace of Spades, and it is not the Queen of Hearts. All right?
Okay.
I'm going to send it to you. You can change your mind a couple times, but once you say a card out loud, that's the point of no return. You won't be able to change your mind anymore. Just like I can't change my mind on the card I turned over. So change your mind, get a couple cards in mind, and when one feels right, just say it out loud. And again, I'll keep these in frame.
So you want me to actually say it out loud right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jack of Clubs.
Jack of Clubs. That's great because in cartomancy, which is the art of telling fortunes with playing cards, Jack represents someone who's adventurous and clubs represents creativity. So I had the feeling that you've been really adventurous in your creativity right now, which is why, like I said, I turned one card over. I'll go through these slowly. You can see all the cards are facing the same way, all of them except for one. That is the only card in the whole deck that I turned over. And that card is Jack of Clubs.
Bravo.
Very nice.
So how do you do
So be sure to only use your powers for good, Mike. That's the important thing for that. Okay?
Absolutely. You're so much fun, Joe.
Oh, thanks. You guys are so much fun. This is a blast.
Yeah, that was a great way to start off the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
do you have predictions for astrological signs at all?
Sure. So what we can do, I will shuffle my tarot cards again.
Maybe Libra. just throwing that one out there. Libra with Aquarius rising.
So what we'll do, I've got my tarot deck with me, just the major arcana. And what's great for this too is that this will be for your listeners, and whether they listen to this live or after the fact, we'll do a quick card for each of the 12 zodiac signs. So that way, everyone listening will have a card to use as their future prediction for the year. So we'll go throughout the year. We'll start with Capricorn, and we'll go through in order. So. Capricorn, we're in Capricorn season right now, so we'll pull one at random. For Capricorns, we have the Strength card. This is card number 8 in the major arcana. This is ultimately about using gentleness, killing them with kindness. You'll notice that there's someone holding a lion's mouth open, and they don't look strained. So this shows good inner strength. Also, don't be worried about feeling like you're caught in a loop this year, like just a constant infinity loop. Just don't worry if you feel like you're just caught in that. Stay strong, stay vigilant, and Capricorn, you can't help but be successful in the new year. Next, we'll go with Aquarius. Interesting. We have water on this card. So this is great. So Aquarius, you've got the moon. There's a lot of uncertainty this year. There's going to be a lot of back and forth and things that seem like a good idea at the time, but as you get closer, may look differently. It's okay to take your time and to weigh the options. Trust your intuition, trust your gut, and it's okay to, like water can be in a variety of different states, solid, liquid, or vapor. allow yourself to be adaptable to your environments as well. All right. So after Aquarius, I believe is Pisces. Is Aries. Aries is next. Okay. Yeah, Aries is next. No, wait, yeah, Pisces is next.
Pisces.
Yes, Pisces is next. Okay. All right. Pisces, you're going to be stubborn this year. Very, very stubborn. You're allowed to be stubborn. You've earned the right to be stubborn. But still listen to people. You don't have to be the unstoppable force that meets the unmovable object. Sometimes you can just be the unmovable object that can lend a listening ear sometimes. Next is Aries. Aries, you've got the Lovers. This is a year of choice for you. If you don't make the choice is going to be made for you. I think there's a lot of outside influences. So make your choices instinctually and fairly quickly for the coming year. All right. So that was Aries. Next is Taurus. Temperance. You're kind of stuck between. I'm really jumping out at the feet, how one hand is on the dry land, one foot is on dry land and one is in the water. I think this is a year where, this phrase just popped in my head, and this is all I'm going to say for this one. All things in moderation, including moderation. All right. So that was that was Taurus. Yes. So next is what is next? Next is Gemini, right? Yeah, Gemini. This is Gemini. Right. Oh, okay. For Gemini, we have the High Priestess. When you get into your season, Gemini, get outside, walk barefoot a lot. Be careful. Don't step on glass or anything. Go for nature walks. Get your feet on some grass. Get your bare feet in nature. I think the big thing too, up until then, really keep track of the moon, because there's the crescent moon down here with the High Priestess as well. Trust your intuition. Until then, look inward rather than outward. I think you're at a point right now where everything seems kind of lost, and so you're looking outward for verification on stuff, and I think you're just going to need to start having to look inward for stuff as well. So be on the lookout for that. So there's I'm losing track of where we're at. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cancer next. Cancer. All right.
That's my
mentions the planchette pin. Yes, the planchette pin is right there. I've got a couple of these. I love these. Next is Cancer, the crab. Okay, this card means change and transformation. I always have to point that out with the Death card. It does not mean you're going to die. It means change and transformation. You will notice, actually, there's some religious figures on the card. There's the Pope. There's the sun rising in the new year. There's the flower on the flag. I think this is going to be a year where a lot of things change for you. I think it's going to be a year of learning to let go of mostly old habits in order to allow for new, more positive habits to grow. Think of it more as clearing out the garden to allow new things to grow for the new year. Next is Leo. We've got Leo next. Leo, you're the Hierophant. You're going to have to be there for a lot of people this year, Leo. You're going to have to be the one that people come to for guidance. You're going to have to be the one to keep this in mind when people come to you, Leo. The people coming to you for advice already deep down know the answer. They're just looking for validation. So be clear to them, listen to them, tell them your genuine feelings, but also ask them, what do you think? Or are you looking for validation for this? So be sure of that. Next is Virgo, I believe. Let's mix these up a few more times. Pull one out at random. For Virgo, Virgo, you're going to stay humble this year. We've got the Tower. A lot of people think the Tower is a negative card. And again, it really isn't. It's about humility. Pride always cometh before the fall. So stay humble. Stay aware of things around you. I think you got to realize, yes, you're doing a good job, but there's a lot of outside influences that, could change it all in a heartbeat. So stay humble and realize that so much of what you're doing you're able to do because outside influences have gone your way, and really take time to think about how lucky you have been and how unlucky you could have been if things outside of your control went in a different way. Next is Libra. We're coming in on the last three. So for Libra, we've got the star. Libra, this is a year of renewal for you. Out with the old, in with the new. I would say also look for, so you notice the 8 points of the star. I think 8's going to be a significant number for you this year. I think also learning to see the big picture too. Like, for example, the bird in the background is something that just jumped out at me while looking at this. And that's not something I normally focus on, but it jumped out at me for this. So I take that to mean that for all of you out there, that means to look outside the immediate things in front of you and to see the big picture. All right, we're down to the last two. We're down to Scorpio and then Sagittarius, my sign. For Scorpio, we've got the Hermit. You have to look inward, let your inward voice guide you and light your path. And then finally for Sagittarius, this is mine, so it's a good one. We've got the World. So it's interesting how we're at the last we're at the last card in the major arcana, we're the last one of the zodiac. Everything is about, just kind of going with the flow this year, just letting cycles take their way. This is not a crazy year for us, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It can feel like a boring year for us Sagittarius. That means there's less drama and we can just take solace in the balance that's happening. Let the standard cycle go through from season to season to season. I'm noticing the 4 figures on here, and it's making me think of the 4 seasons. And just balance yourself in the midst of all of that so that in the next year we'll be able to help not just ourselves, but with other people as well. So there's a quick little future outlook forecast for all the different star signs. So everyone listening has, and anyone who says, "Oh, I'm the 13th star sign," no, you're one of the 12. Figure out this one.
You're one of the 12. So Victoria,
sorry, it's been around for thousands of years.
Yes.
It's not going to change anytime soon.
I'm all about being positive. This is the month to get a job. Yes.
That's right. You will get one.
Hope so. Or I'm coming to see Joe.
No, you're just coming to see Joe. Yeah.
I'll do that too.
I'm just moving up to the dole.
Oh, there you go. So we just have a few minutes left in the show. Want to one more time let everybody know about your virtual event. Use that promo code Edge of the Rabbit Hole, which is down in the description. So, Joe, you want to talk a little bit about that again one more time here?
Yeah, every Wednesday, 7:30 Central for January and February. Tickets are normally $20 per screen per household. So if you're, a family, if you're a couple who want to have a fun date night in, it's also on not a weekend. So even if you are in an area where things are opening up, you don't have to lock in for your weekend and sacrifice that for this. It's, you can record whatever you're going to watch on TV that night. We all watch it after the fact anyway now. This is live, it's interactive, and it's a lot of fun. The show lasts about an hour. Again, use the promo code Edge of the Rabbit Hole in the promo code box before checkout. You can go joediamondlive.com/virtual or joediamondlive.wellattended.com, and that will bring you to my ticketing page. Both of those will, and just select. It's also one other thing too. A good friend of mine who's been to a lot of my virtual and in-person shows, his kids live in Florida. So he's actually going to the show next week, and they're all going to watch together as a family, even though they're in different time zones. So if you do want something to do that you can do with like friends and family who maybe don't live close by, this is a fun thing for you to do together, and then all hop on Zoom after the show ends and talk about it and hang out and catch up. It's a fun night out that you can do that, again, you're not tied down geographically with. So if you have friends who live far away, this is a way for you to do something with them and again, stay connected in the coming months. So yeah, and again, that promo code, share it with friends, family. If you're going to use it on more than one ticket, feel free to do that. If you're going to get a ticket and friends are going to come, feel free to share it out. I made it to be used. So I want as many Edge of the Rabbit Hole listeners to to come and be connected with us.
Fun.
Absolutely.
I'm looking
I'm
forward
gonna go
to
check it out.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you're gonna be there, Victoria.
Oh yeah, at least once.
Yeah, at least once.
Yes.
All right. Well, Joe, thank you so much for
Thank you.
returning
This
on
is always
the
a
show.
blast. This is
Thanks,
always
Joe.
a blast. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Oh.
much.
Absolutely. No, thanks for joining us. You're always so much fun. And
Yes.
yeah, remember,
Yes.
cover
Last
your
one with the
balls.
crystal ball.
I see you coming back.
I see
Ooh.
my ring
see
light.
me-
I'm tired.
I see-
Yeah, sure enough.
I see me moving this out of the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those are my collectibles back here.
Yes.
All right. Again, Joe, thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you.
you
Thank
have a
both of
great
you.
2022. Wish you much.
Yes.
much
Have a great
success this year.
2022, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, everybody. Joe Diamond. So he is always a lot of fun.
Oh, he's fun. Yeah, we've kept in touch since he was on last time. He's a hoot.
Yeah. I know you've kept
He's-
in really good touch with him. I haven't as much, although I would like to. I'm just busy. But
Yeah, he'll
he's
send me
such
a
good guy.
message. Yeah, he's like, I'm in Austin for lunch. I'm like, that's 6 hours away.
He's like, yeah, it's in the state of Texas, you know. Kind of
It
big.
takes me 2 just to get out of Houston, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, what a great way to start the new year.
Oh yeah.
I'm
This is
glad that even though I think it was going to be a good just before Christmas show, it was a great way to start the new year. Just kind of break the ice since we've been off for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
It was fun.
thank you, Joe.
Good way. Yes. Thank you, Joe. Good way to get back into the swing.
Yeah. So and yeah, we have the new time. So I know that I see some down in the chat didn't quite get the new time, and we tried to put that out there, but I knew some people were going to miss it, and I do apologize. But I did see some comments earlier in the show where people were saying that they like the new time, which is good.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason why we did it for at 9:30 Eastern for so long was because well, it worked out good for you, Victoria, when you came on board. But but yeah, when Edge of the Rabbit Hole first started, there was another show that some friends of ours were that it had put on that was during that time that would be the 8:30 time slot, 8:30, and didn't want to conflict with them because many of you were tuning into that show at the time, and so it was like, well, I don't want to conflict with that. We'll just do it after, and then people can watch that and then come watch us, which worked out for a while. But they're no longer doing that show, so it's like let's move it up. So
You know what this means? You can expand to 2 hours now.
I'm not expanding it too much. You're
haven't
the
said that since
second
last
hour.
year.
The second hour was Wednesday nights connecting the
I
universe.
know.
That's your second hour.
Okay.
So nice try though.
Okay. I haven't done it since last year or 2020.
Right? Yeah, way back last year.
Whatever that was. Yeah.
It worked for a while. Can't really do it so much anymore. But about 15
lot
years
of
ago,
work.
I would say, about 15 years ago, I'd say stuff like, way back in the 1900s.
That's so last century,
No,
It's like,
well,
oh.
last millennia.
Yeah, I had to fill out a form and they said, we need all 4 digits of your birthday. I'm like, what? Oh, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that would be a thing now because,
It's
If you were
definitely a
born-
thing now. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Jeez.
ever since Y2K, which was supposed to break everything.
Actually, it was Y2022 because my car broke on New Year's Day.
Oh, that's
But-
right. Yours broke.
Every day, it's January 1st at 2:15 when I turn my car on. Every
That's
single time.
Funny. That's really funny.
So,
So, all right, let's go ahead and get to the shout out. So, do appreciate everybody joining us this evening. And new start time is 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, 7:30 Central, and then you can kind of math from there.
math from there.
Math from there. Yeah. All right. So where's the participants? I want to thank Alina for moderating the chat as always. Always appreciated. So participants tab. See, come on. There's like 7 people in the participants tab. We've had at least 20 in here all evening.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. Okay. So Helen Espinoza, thanks for joining us this evening. There's Jill Nimchinsky. Thank you as well. Mary Haygood, as always, Stacy Comiskey, TFT Tarot for today, and Tracy Christian. And see, I know Haunted Road Media's Fairy Queen Diane Hilbert. Yeah. She's been with us the entire evening, and she's not in the participants tab. YouTube, fix that thing.
That's so last century.
I know. I know. So, all right, let's scroll on through here. Yeah, Andrew and his trucking gnomes. That's Andrew Cox. Joy was with us this evening. That's good. Who else did we have here? Pam Presnell, thanks for joining us tonight. Heidi Lee Tarot in Mediumship. Thank you for joining us. And Madam X was in the house. Robert Hanna stopped by. He had to leave a little bit early, so I appreciate that, Robert. And William Gildner, thank you for joining us. And scroll back down here. So, did Adam Tillery get the notice? Is he lurking down there? Because I don't see the eyes.
I have not spoken with him
down there. I don't know.
Well, he'll be in for a rude awakening in an hour.
Yeah. Well, and he usually does the whole watching Oak Island and watching us sort of thing. So I'm going to be ruining his Tuesday nights here.
See, now he can watch Oak Island and not have to worry.
Now they won't conflict. This is true.
That's right. See, this is why you did it.
That's right.
You're a giver, Mike.
Help out Adam.
Come on. Okay.
All right, everybody. Happy New Year. Wish everybody a fantastic 2022. Next week, we have, I think it's Jim Hunt. Let me take a look at the schedule here real quick.
You have a lot of psychics coming up. Yes. Oh,
I do.
I wrote them down the other day. I can check real quick. Yeah, you have a lot of psychics. And
Jim Hunt on Psychic Phenomena coming up after him. Robert Bosnack on Alchemy.
Psychic Kids are coming up.
Yep, Psychic Kids. Mm-hmm. Yep, Past Life Regression is in there. So yeah, next several weeks are going to be very interesting. That's 4 weeks in a row.
Do you know why? I just figured out because it's Aquarius, and Aquarius is all up in the head. See? That's why you did it, right?
Did you just say Aquarius has something wrong in the head?
No, they're all up in the head. Nothing wrong in the head. No, Aquarius are very cerebral.
Okay. So I want to make sure I heard that right, because it's like that didn't sound right. You better not be some of our Aquarius people out there.
No, Aquarius people are awesome.
They are.
I'm an Aquarius rising, 0 degree. So
cool.
I'm all up in my head. Yeah.
You're all up in your head. Okay.
I usually. Yeah.
All right, everybody. You have a great evening and Happy New Year once again. Till next time. Oh, what is it I'm supposed to say? No, because Nicole had a good one for me. Yeah. Until next time, if there is such a thing as time.